with Iran. A new report from NBC News suggests that 9,000 Iranian missiles and drones were used since February 28th in the multiple rounds of war. The U.S. military has said that they had to let some of these missiles and drones come through, they say, in order to preserve Patriot air defenses. Now, despite U.S. attacks having ceased for now, there is another front opening up Europe's way against Iran. Ukraine struck Iranian vessels in the Caspian Sea, killing an Iranian sailor. Now there are reports that Iran could retaliate against Ukraine in some shape or form in the next 24 to 48 hours, with Ukraine monitoring groups on Telegram and elsewhere panicking about the possible response. Now, Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Donald Trump today at the White House, not simultaneously, but on the same day, to discuss developments, and many believe to discuss escalation. But there are many concerns about what's happening economically right now, as a major refinery of Aramco in Jazan shuts down in Saudi Arabia because of Yemen's counter siege against Saudi U.S. aggression. So, Scott, these are the latest developments. What's your reaction in particular to where we are at now? The United States, Donald Trump is saying that he could restart war anytime with Iran, but report after report have come out talking about how this ultimately is not recommended given the current state of the United States. CENTCOM, your thoughts on the situation right now?
Well, one would imagine that if Donald Trump could restart the war, he would only do so if he believed he could win. And if he believes he could win, then why isn't he waging the war right now? I mean, what was the purpose of the past few weeks? The bottom line is the United States stopped striking Iran because we were losing, because we couldn't win, because we don't have a strategy to go forward. That if we continue to go forward, the escalation ladder would lead to permanent harm to energy production facilities in the region, would continue to create devastation for American military forces and installations in the region that Donald Trump was losing. He had no other option. He had no other choice. So he stopped the attacks, and Iran responded by stopping its missile attacks. That's where we're at. The United States has lost this war. It's just up to Donald Trump to recognize the defeat and figure out how to, find an off ramp from where he currently is. But if he could bomb Iran into submission, he would be bombing Iran into submission. And so the fact that he is saying things but isn't acting on them is just proof positive that he's in a very difficult political situation. He has to maintain the facade of being in control when the situation is totally out of control.
What do you make of the report of, 9,000 projectiles? That's what the U.S. officials are saying Iran has fired thus far. The United States claims, of course, especially during the beginning of the war, to have hit tens of thousands of targets. But what did you make of the last 13 days and the difference between the damage and the strikes, the precision, and all of this when it comes to why the United States is no longer firing?
First of all, we need to understand that the last 13 days, produced nothing except further defeat for the United States. Iran hasn't been hurt by any of the actions taken by the United States. We're blowing up, empty buildings. We're blowing up infrastructure that can be rapidly reconstituted. The United States intelligence community has, recognized how quickly Iran can get bridges rebuilt, infrastructure rebuilt. Every building we're striking, I was struck by the fact that the United States was bombing the Parchin missile factory. I'm like, why? Wasn't it destroyed the first time, the first 39 days? And if it wasn't destroyed, why not? But more importantly, do you honestly think that the Iranians kept anything of value in this facility? Don't we understand that every high value piece of equipment has long since been evacuated and put into underground facilities? And we're just blowing up, reinforced concrete. And the Iranians will come in and they will sweep away the debris and recast it. And once the war's over, bring the high value equipment back out, reinstall it, and get back to business instantaneously. We're doing no harm to Iran. I mean, we're killing thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. And that is, of course, harmful. It's criminal. But, our strategic objective was to collapse the Iranian regime. It's stronger today than it has ever been. Our strategic objectives was to, terminate Iran's ballistic missile capacity. It's all gone underground. They're not only firing missiles that, we claim to have destroyed, but they're building new missiles. So they're getting stronger even as they're firing missiles. Something that, we should, reflect on as the reality of our ammunition depletion hits home. We're running out of long-range strike weapons. We've run out of the interceptors needed to protect. You talked about an article where, they have to let projectiles through. You're in trouble when you have to preserve the Patriot missile interceptors to protect the Patriot missile launchers, and everything else gets destroyed. So, why are we there? Someday the history of this conflict will be written, and nothing about it is going to reflect well on the United States, whether the military or the political leadership. Iran is 100% in control. You mentioned Saudi Arabia. This is the reality that had Trump escalated the way he claimed he was going to escalate, it wouldn't just be Saudi Arabia that would be shutting down. It would be Kuwait. It would be Bahrain. It would be UAE. And if the conflict continued, it could be Azerbaijan shutting down. Iran has the capacity to shut down the totality of energy production in the Middle East region. And that would be the outcome if the United States sought to escalate, because there is no defense against Iran's ballistic missile and drone force. There just simply is no defense. You can shoot one or two down, but, when we did our strategic bombing campaign over Germany, in the end, we'd launch waves of bombers, and the Germans would shoot down a few, send fighters up, shoot down a few. But at the end of the day, we were bombing at will. Yes, we took casualties, but the goals and objectives of the strategic bombing campaign were being met. The Iranians are firing missiles. Some are shot down, not many, and the ones that aren't shot down hit the targets that they're aimed at. The objectives of the Iranian strategic air campaign are being fulfilled. The objectives of the American strategic campaign are not being fulfilled. We're having zero impact on Iran's ability to sustain this conflict.
Yeah, and here are the satellite imagery of what Yemen has done to the strategic Yanbu port area. Oil infrastructure has been hit, the bulk plants in the industrial city. And it's, as you said, Scott, Iran could do far more damage than this. And the Gulf countries have been perhaps at the front.